Hey everybody, this is Oliver Joyce from Whiskeybarrel Studios, and it's the lead up to Christmas. Crazy, it's already December. This may be the last video before Christmas, who knows. It's 34 degrees today, Celsius. It's a hot one. In Australia, of course, we celebrate Christmas by getting absolutely scorched by the sun, and we still have the hot roast for lunch and everything. Kind of, we're a strange country, but I'm trying to stay cool with my ridiculously sized tankard of water here. Stay hydrated, all those in the southern hemisphere, and everyone in the northern hemisphere, stay warm. Cool, great video. Let's talk about the weather. No. Today, I just wanted to update you on Lair of Lair of the Leviathan. It's a hard one to say quickly. Sometimes my kids struggle saying it. But yeah, I want to been talking about what I've been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks on the game, and I need your help. David and I have two different options for how some of the game's graphics are going to look, and we'd love to get your feedback on them because it's going to influence the direction the game goes in the future. I'll show you that soon. But first, let's quickly look at what I've been doing in the game editor. Okay, so here we are in the overworld of the game, of course, and we can move our characters around. Right now, they follow that little sort of transparent egg sun looking thing. I haven't got a, that's not the final one, but you can move around with the keyboard like this. You can also move around with the map now, and that will follow the mouse cursor, which is cool. So, if I want to go down to this town, we can go down there. And of course, you see the town of Stonewood. Enter this town, journey on. And now when they're in the town, they also double click to where you want to go, double click to scroll the map, whatever. And they go behind. So you can use mouse or keyboard. And this is because we want to get the game running nicely on consoles as well, Switch and so on like that. So right now they all have pathfinding and everything too. So I've got that all working. They go behind things. Notice how they go behind buildings. Find paths like that. He's taking his own little way behind the trees and so on. And that's all working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how that has turned out. This is the top-down view. So remind yourself, this is when I talk about the top-down view, this is what we're talking about. The overworld and exterior locations have the top-down view. But first of all, we're going to go and check out the editor again. I'll show you what I've updated. Okay, so we're in the game editor now, and load up a map there. I've changed this to make it a little bit more user-friendly. You can now create points of interest and lights and so on from this. This is an internal editor for David and myself. But my dream would be to be able to get you guys to be able to use this. Make it releasable to the public so you can make your own mods for the game. Extra adventures and so on. That would be really cool. So I'm trying building this with that in mind, even though there's a lot of work that would be required to make it publicly usable, just because there's other things that I have to do that are outside of the editor to get stuff working in the game as well. But you can actually now edit encounters from here as well as from the side. You now also see, these are more like a Trello board. If you've ever seen Trello, it's a bit like they go from columns from here to here to here rather than the vertical stuff. And you've seen a lot of the stuff in the encounter editor in the last video. Go back to the last video if you want to check that out in more detail. But I'm starting to add more options. So if we go create a new link, you now can show big pictures. I could go show this cool picture here or whatever, and say this is our castle, and then save that. And this could be like encounter 7, whatever it is. Chance of this happening, you say there's a 30% chance, but it only happens when you're, in one of those terrains and so on. But we're not going to bother with this one right now. What I wanted to show you today, very quickly, is remember we were in the town before, they had a top view. I also want to show you the side view. Now, check this out. Just to preface this, before I started working on the game in sort of like July when I came on board, David had already been working on the game for, for the best part of, at least nearly a year or so on. And he had done a whole bunch of different sort of really cool images and sort of visual design work on the game to sort of see what works and see what doesn't. And one of the ones he did were town building interiors. And there were two different options. There's the top-down view, which, is looking like, imagine a bird's eye view from up high, and the side on view, which is a bit more like an ant farm, or, the bases in XCOM, that kind of thing, where you're looking at a sort of a cross section of the base, or a dollhouse. And we have options for both of those. The Overworld uses the top-down view, the bird's eye one, and so does Map Exteriors, so when you're out in the woods and so on. But when you go into buildings, we are not sure which one we prefer more, the top-down or the side one. I'm going to show you them both, and then I'd love your feedback on them. Firstly, this is the top-down view, and this shows the tavern, and you can see it's all animated. David does not muck around. He's done it all animated because he really wanted to see it in its complete, as nice as it can look. And if you notice here, for those who are Dungeons and Dragons fans, who's that? That is the classic adventuring party from D&D, the old cartoon from the 80s. And that is so cool. It's funny? I only just noticed that then. I've been looking at this picture for ages, and I was like, oh, part of the adventures. Then I realized, oh, it's the little barbarian guy and the knight and, the wizard and everything. That is so awesome. But yeah, this is the top-down view. And the party, of course, will be able to go in here and walk around. And when you want to go talk to the tavern keeper, you'll be able to go up here and buy a drink. You can talk to patrons who are in here. And then when you want to walk out, they walk up. Using the arrow keys or the mouse, same as the rest of the game map. So that is option one. The caveat, the problem for this one is David finds it hard to, and he would be the first to admit this, to draw perspectives from this view. This is a challenging way to draw pixel art and so on. So this takes him longer. And so by doing it this way, we may have less interiors. Okay? So, naturally he'll get more proficient as time goes on. He's already an awesome pixel artist. But like every skill, you have to improve and hone your craft. So there you go, option one. But before we do option two, I just want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. BGP, Cavity Number 1, Dane Simoneau, Brandon K, Noah Gudajan, X Up Omega, Seth Drabitko, Jeffro of Hex 3D, Hopeless, Lewis Fugel, Valenwed, Evan, Martin Shalupski, and Sir Onyx. A hearty bunch of adventurers who found out about these top view, side view changes a little while ago because they get my Patreon newsletter as often as I can. I used to say weekly, but you know me. I mean to help and do this as efficiently as I can, but sometimes I just run out of time during the week. But you guys are going to be involved in the game somehow, whether it's through your own portrait somewhere or name a book or write an epitaph on a tombstone or whatever it is. But if you want to get involved in Lair or Leviathan, this is a great way to do it. There'll be a link below, of course. So yeah, cheers, you guys. You guys are the best. I used to have where's my armorer guy? Oh, there he is. If you'd like to be a patron, that would make my day. Get out of the get down, Thargan. It's not about you. It's not about swords and sandals right now. It's all about Lair of the Leviathan. And here is option two, which is, of course, the side view. Now, this, of course, is like a dollhouse or an ant farm, XCOM, that kind of thing. And it offers you a more intimate view, I think, than the top-down. You see a sort of a much more old-school perspective, almost, like that you would find in something like Pools of Darkness or something like that. And the advantage of this one is that you can sort of click around. So the idea is that there'll be icons here, and you'll be able to go like tavern or buy a drink here, talk to this person, and it'll just sort of like you just click on it. You don't walk around. It's basically, that's the advantage. This is super fast. You just go click on man, click dog, and it says you pat the dog. Click there. So it's a slightly different way of doing things, and the disadvantage is that same thing. It's because it is a different system. It requires a slight bit of getting used to the rest of the game. It's not as consistent, but visually, I prefer this visually. It does stand out to me in a way that's really cool and looks really unique and a bit more old school than the other one. And the other thing is this saves time. When you're in a building, you might just want to go sell loot. You don't always want to walk over to the blacksmith and then click on the blacksmith and then, talk to him and sell loot. Sometimes you just want to go, double click, sell. Or double click, talk to patron, or whatever it is. So anything you can do in here will be more like a point click thing, and there'll be icon buttons for that. This is also easier for David to create pixel art editor and easier to animate just because he's more comfortable doing it. So by doing it this way, we can probably have more interiors. So yeah, there are the two different views. All right, so now you've seen both. I turn the floor over to you. So please leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know what you think, top view or side view. You can go to the Lair of the Leviathan Steam page, and there's already a bit of a discussion going on there. Right now, it's fairly heavily in favor of top view. And conversely, David and I prefer the side view. But, we want this to be, not designed by committee, but we value your feedback, and we want it to be a game for, for aficionados of role-playing games, and we want you to be part of this. So we're going to take your input on board and then ultimately work out what is best for the game. So anything you write below, I'm going to read and I'm going to take on board. All right, guys, my CPU fan is starting to go nuts because, as I said, it's 34 degrees. Actually, it's cooled down. It's cooled down. That is awesome. It is now only 32 degrees, which is awesome. So great. Wonderful. Okay. Going to get on with cracking with the game. I'm improving the editor slightly. I'm actually moving on to the item creator this week, probably tomorrow. And once I have, that'll allow you to build everything from, lock picks to plate mail +4, long swords, that kind of stuff. Any item you can find in the game, you'll find in the item creator. But on that note, this is not going to be a game where you just pick up endless bunches of junk. I've been working my way through Baldur's Gate 3. Fantastic game. I'm sort of right up to the last battle now. And the amount of junk in that game is ludicrous. It's up there with Skyrim and Witcher and everything. I now have like 400 or 500 things in my inventory. All this junk that I've picked up that you think you might need, you might not. There's not going to be that in Lair of the Leviathan. Everything you're going to have is going to be and relatable to battles, basically. There's not going to be like pick up a silver goblet and then sell it for 4 gold pieces, that kind of thing. We just want to really minimize the junk in this game and get it back to what those classic old gold box style games were, because no one really needs 800 different swords and silver goblets and 15,000 potions and stuff like that. There will be potions and things, but yeah, you get it. After the item creator, I'm going to be working on the skills and actions and stuff that use for battle. And then probably, sometime in January, I'll start looking at combat itself. And that is where the fun really begins. All right, my friends, until next time, thanks for being part of this. If you haven't wishlisted Lair Leviathan, please head over to the Steam page below and, of course, like and subscribe and all that. No, whatever. I don't care. You guys are either part of the Whiskeybarrel family or you're not. By sticking around this long, I know you got me, fam, and I got you guys. Until next time, subscribe for now. No, bye for now. Stop looping. See you guys.